Welcome back to AP Chemistry. In this lesson, we're going to be learning some more about acids and bases, and specifically we're learning about a laboratory technique called acid-base titration. Now, in case you've never seen an acid-base titration before, I strongly recommend that you take a look at my video that shows from beginning to end how an acid-base titration is done. Hopefully, by that point, you'll have a better idea as to what's going on, and these calculations that we're about to do will make a whole lot more sense. Now, this slide basically says what is an acid-base titration. It's one of the easiest methods we use in the lab for determining the concentration of an acid or a base. We use some fairly sophisticated lab equipment. We use a burette, normally to put the base into and to dispense the base, and that burette is used to dispense the base into the acid, which is usually in an Erlenmeyer flask. And we normally use a pipette to dispense the acid into that flask. We use an acid-base indicator, and we'll talk more about how we choose that and how those work here a little bit later. And normally we choose the indicator so that when the reaction is complete, there's a very distinct color change. And the point in the reaction where that color changes is called the end point. So we'll talk more about these here later. And like I said earlier, if you've seen my video about an acid-base titration, or you've just done one of these before, then it's going to make a whole lot more sense. Now, the basic or the most fundamental equation we use in acid-base titrations will be this equation right here. This is the titration equation. MAVA equals MBVB, where MA is the molarity of the acid. And so often that's what we're trying to determine. VA is the volume of the acid. MB is the molarity of the base, and VB is the volume of the base. Now, this is generally the format for the titration equation, but it can be altered somewhat, because if you have an acid or a base that has multiple hydronium, hydrogens in it, or hydroxide units, like for example, sulfuric acid has 2 hydrogen units, or calcium hydroxide has 2 hydroxide units, you'd have to place that multiple in front of the term for that side. And we'll actually see an example of that here in a few minutes. Let's try an example with this titration equation. Here we have a chemist that's titrating 0.150 molar sodium hydroxide solution into a flask containing 10.00 milliliters of 0.350 molar acetic acid. What volume of base is required to reach the equivalence point of this titration? Well, once again, we're going to use the titration equation, which looks like that, and we're just going to plug the numbers in here. So we're going to find the molarity of the acid. Well, that's given to us right up here in the problem. That's the 0.350 molar of acetic acid. Now, the volume of the acid, that's given to us as well. It tells us right here that we have 10.00 milliliters of that. So I'll plug that in for V sub A. And then for M sub B, that's the molarity of the base. Well, it tells us what the molarity of the base, the sodium hydroxide, is, 0.150. And we're trying to solve for V sub B, because the question says, what volume of base? And so we're trying to solve for V sub B. And so this is just a simple algebra problem. And you just take 0.350 times 10 divided by 0.150, and we find that the volume of the base is going to be 23.3 milliliters. So that's a very simple problem there using the titration equation. Let's try another example. We can look at a titration where it requires 36.48 milliliters of calcium hydroxide to reach the end point when being titrated into 15.00 milliliters of 0.300 molar hydrochloric acid. What is the concentration of the calcium hydroxide solution? Well, once again, we're going to use the titration equation, so it looks like this. However, you might notice that we have a case where there are 2 hydroxides in the base. And so we're going to have to invoke that little rule that we mentioned a couple minutes ago, that 2 right here is going to go in front of the base side because, hydroxide means it's a base. So right here, I'm going to put a 2, since there are 2 base units of hydroxide. So now I'm ready to solve the rest of the equation. So M sub A is the molarity of the acid, and that is right here, it's 0.3. And then the volume of the acid is, it says it's 15 milliliters, so we have that in there. The molarity of the base is what we're trying to solve for, because the question says, what is the concentration of that calcium hydroxide? So we're trying to solve for M sub B. Now the volume of the base is 36.48 milliliters. So that goes in for V sub B. Once again, a very simple algebra problem. And so we multiply, do some division here, and we find that the molarity of the base is about 0.0617 moles per liter. So hopefully you can solve equations here using the titration equation. Very simple math here. Now we're going to be looking at a few different types of titrations. We're focusing on the 2 main types that sometimes appear on the AP chemistry exam. In this video, for this part of the lesson, we're going to be looking at the strong acid, strong base titration. And in the next video, we'll take a look at strong base, weak acid titrations. Now, if we have a strong acid and a strong base, this is going to remind us of some of the calculations that we did a couple of videos ago in a previous lesson, where anytime we have a strong acid and a strong base combining, the net ionic equation is always the same. Do you remember what that is? Hopefully you realize that it's this right here. H plus OH negative hydroxide will get you water. That's always going to be the net ionic equation in the strong acid, strong base type of titration. Now the nice thing about this titration is, since your only product is pure water, as long as you're at 25 degrees Celsius, the pH at the equivalence point, which is that exact moment in the titration where the moles of acid equal the moles of base, will always be 7.00. That's a neutral pH. So if you ever have a strong acid, strong base titration, at the equivalence point, the pH is always 7. So that's kind of a nice thing to remember. So let's try a problem with a strong acid, strong base. Here we have a case where 0.200 molar sodium hydroxide is going to be titrated into 40 milliliters of 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. So let's do part A first here. We're going to determine the amount of sodium hydroxide that's required to reach the equivalence point. Well, this is just a very simple application of the titration equation that we used a little bit earlier. So we're going to use that equation, and we're going to plug into that. So M sub A is the molarity of the acid, and it tells us that that is 0.100. So that goes in. And then the volume of the acid, looks like there's 40 milliliters of that, so we'll plug it in there. And the molarity of the base is 0.200 molar. So that goes in for M sub B. And of course, we're trying to find the volume of the base, the sodium hydroxide solution here. So that's our unknown. And now it's just a simple algebra problem. Multiply and divide, and we get that the volume of the base is going to be 20 milliliters. So we can kind of write that down and think about that, because we may come back to that a little bit later. Now in part B, it tells us calculate the pH of the mixture in the Erlenmeyer flask, that is, down here at the bottom of the titration, after 0 milliliters of acid have been added, of base have been added rather. Well, if that's the case, if you haven't added any of the base yet, that means all the liquid, all the solution down here in the Erlenmeyer flask is completely 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. And that's a strong acid. So all you have to do to find the pH of that is to take the negative log of the H plus concentration, which is just 0.1. Just taking the negative log of the concentration of the strong base. So that's going to be 1.00. So once again, we're just doing a very simple pH problem here. Now, that takes care of parts A and B. Let's do part C. Now, part C here, we're trying to find out how much is, or rather, what is the pH after 10 milliliters have been added. Now, the best way to work this problem is remember that this is a strong problem, strong acid, strong base. And since we have something strong in here, we have to work this in terms of moles. So we're going to set up our equation right here, and we're going to set it up as an ice box. Now, first of all, let's find how many moles of acid, H plus, we have. Well, after 10 milliliters of acid have been added, that's 0.04, I'm sorry, we're looking at the moles of acid, that's right, so that would be 0.04 liters, which is this number right here, times 0.1 molar, so that's 0.04 or 004 moles, so that's going to go in for H+. Now, the value we have here, 10 milliliters, that's the volume of the base. So we're going to find the moles of hydroxide by taking 0.01 liters times the 0.2 molar. So we do that, and that gets us the moles of hydroxide, which will be 0.02 moles. So we'll put that into our ice box here. And as always, we don't really care about how many moles of water we have in this context. So as we look at this, hopefully you can see that hydroxide is the limiting reactant. So we're going to run out of hydroxide, and so we can subtract 0.002 from both sides. And so we have 0.002 moles of hydrogen ion. And now if we want to find the molarity of that, well, we have to take the 0.002 moles and divide it by the total volume. Well, what is our total volume at this point? Well, we started with 40 milliliters in the flask, and we've just added 10 more milliliters of a base. So that's 50 milliliters. So we have to divide 0.002 moles by the 50 milliliters, or 0.050 liters. So when we do that, we get an answer of 0.04 molar. And if we know the molarity of hydrogen ion, it's pretty simple just to take the negative log of that and find the pH. So the pH is 1.40. Now that's interesting because we are, about halfway to the equivalence point, and the pH has not gone up that much. It started out at 1.00, and we're still only at 1.40. So that's kind of interesting. Now, for part D, we realize that at 20 milliliters, hopefully that number sounds familiar to us because earlier we calculated that it was going to take 20 milliliters to get to the equivalence point. That was the answer we got in the titration equation. So the answer is 7 at that point. So that part was pretty easy. At the equivalence point, it's always 7. Now part E, what happens when we go a little bit past the equivalence point and add just 1 more milliliter of the base? Well, we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to set up our equation in an ice box, and we're going to have to figure out the number of moles of each of these. Now for the hydrogen, it's the same as it was. We haven't really changed the number of moles of acid in there. It's still the same. It's basically 0.04 liters times 0.1 molar, so it's still 0.004 moles of H+. The hydroxide's a little bit different. We're going to have to take the 0.2 molar times 0.021 liters. And so we have 0.0042 moles of hydroxide. So I'll put that in here. Now, since we're past the equivalence point, you might notice that the hydrogen ion is going to run out this time. That is the limiting reactant. So we subtract 0.004 from both sides, and we get 0.0002. We got a lot of zeros in there. You might prefer to use scientific notation. 2 times 10 to the minus 4th moles of hydroxide if you want. And once again, we have to figure out the actual molarity of that. So we take the moles divided by liters. So we started with 40 mils of acid, and we've added 21 mils of base. So that's 61 milliliters. So we divide the 0.0002 by 0.061 liters. And of course, as we see here, since there's more hydroxide, it is going to be basic this time. Now, if we want to find and that should be a negative, not a positive. So if we divide this out, we find that the molarity of the hydroxide is about 0.00328 molar. And if we know the molarity of hydroxide, then it's pretty simple just to take negative log of that and find the pOH, which is 2.48. And if we know the pOH, well, just subtract that from 14, and we can find that the pH is 11.52. That's interesting because we've just added a little bit, 1 more milliliter of the base, and the pH shot up over 4.5 points, from 7 all the way up to 11.52. Now, this is interesting because it seems that very, very close to that equivalence point, there's a big change in pH. Now let's take a look at that graphically. If we look at this, this is a graph that plots the amount of base added on the x-axis and the pH of the solution in the flask on the y-axis. And this is called a titration curve. And for each titration, we can draw a titration curve. Now, it's interesting that when we look and see how the pH changes over the course of the titration, we start out very low. Now, this is slightly different titration than the one that we did, but it starts low, not quite 0, but it's still pretty low. And we keep adding the base, and we notice that the pH doesn't really go up very much. And all of a sudden, as soon as you get very close to the equivalence point, the pH shoots up amazingly quickly. And then it starts to go up steadily again once you've gone past or very far past that equivalence point. Now, it's interesting because on this graph, we can look at the inflection point. It's this spot right here. And that inflection point denotes the exact moment where we have the number of moles of acid equaling the number of moles of base in the reaction flask. That's called the equivalence point. And notice what the pH of that equivalence point is. We can draw that over here. I'm not doing a good job of drawing a straight line, but we can see that it is right at 7. So for a strong acid, strong base titration, it's going to have a pH of 7 at its equivalence point. So you can tell that it's a strong acid, a strong base just by looking at the titration curve and where its inflection point is, right at 7 there. In the other titrations that we look at in this lesson later on, we'll find that that's going to be a little bit different. So this is a summary of how we can calculate titration pHs and the mathematics of titrations in these strong acid, strong base titrations. Hope you learned something about chemistry in this video. If you did, I hope you give me a like, and if you haven't done so yet, I hope you subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you again on here so we can learn some more chemistry together.